To quote Freddie Mercury, another one bites the dust. Britain's prime minister just quit. This is not just a British politics story. This is what happens when a country loses control of the mission. More importantly, it's when the leader of the country forgets who he works for and who he actually should care about. The British Prime Minister has stepped down this morning, Sir Keir Starmer, and now the UK descends into chaos. The really funny part about this is that Keir Starmer has, more often than not, disagreed with the President of the United States. And I believe this has led to the downfall of the UK because the UK is currently being conquered. There are so many problems happening there right now. We know about all of the grooming gangs and all that kind of stuff. We know how their population is in a rapid decline. We know how they have basically allowed so many people from outside of their country to come in and take over, up to and including the mayor of London, which could be the next prime minister. Now, I want to talk a little bit about why this is so important for the United States, because this is a massive move that hopefully leads to some better negotiations. But there's rumors that there could be even someone more left than Keir Starmer about to take over as the prime minister. So since 2015, they have had 7 prime ministers in 11 years. And you can see this here. And that's why the Freddie Mercury quote, the Queen song, Another One Bites the Dust, is really relevant. David Cameron, a long 429 days. Theresa May, 1,100. Boris Johnson, 1,100. Liz Truss, 49 days. I mean, that's like shorter than some people suffer with gout. Rishi Sunak, 619. Keir Starmer, 717. And he's on his way out. Now, the irony here is so deafening because this is the country that used to control us. Some people still think that, the city of London tinkers, tampers, and has their thumbs on some level of things that are happening here. What does this do to that? What does it do to the control that the British Empire has over the United States? Now, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, came out yesterday and predicted this. And everyone kind of chuckled and laughed. But this made the rounds. And now, Keir, well, you're gone.
Expected to resign as soon as tomorrow amid growing pressure over his leadership and support within his party. The Observer writing, quote, the prime minister is understood to have reached the conclusion that his position is no longer tenable after conversations in recent days. Starmer is under pressure to make his intentions clear before Tuesday's critical cabinet meeting, where ministers are planning to tell him that his time is up.
There are a lot of people that have never supported Keir Starmer. And one thing that he's done that no other country has, if they have actually raided homes and arrested people because of social media posts. So the free speech thing is something that, maybe he achieved, maybe he didn't. I'm a big supporter of free speech, and that's why I'm here right now. But Keir Starmer, they've also outlawed social media for children. And I'm okay on some levels of that because I think some of those things are bad. But it seems like Keir Starmer has cared way more for the people that shouldn't actually be in his country than his citizens. But at 4 o'clock this morning, our time, the Prime Minister of the UK walked out the door of 10 Downing Street and quit. He was a landslide winner 2 years ago, gone today. The 6th British leader in a decade to stand on that step and walk away early. But there's a level to this nobody's really explaining to you. Hours before that he said a single word, before the BBC, before his own cabinet, Donald Trump went on Truth Social and scolded the guy. Just flat out called him out, says Keir Starmer will resign. How did the President of the United States know that the British Prime Minister was about to fall before the British public did? The official story is that this was an internal Labour Party revolt, bad elections, a cabinet mutiny, a rival who came back from nowhere. And that's true as far as it goes, but it doesn't explain the timing. It doesn't explain why the two men had stopped speaking, and it does explain what broke between Washington and London in the last 6 months, because something did. And I believe I know what it was. I believe it was the Iran conflict. I believe it was the ability of the United States military to land airplanes in the UK. We have multiple bases there. We're talking Lakenheath. We're talking Mildenhall. There's Menwith Hill. There's Northwood, RAF Northolt. I was stationed in the UK. I know where the bases are. Now, the thing that bothers me the most is we considered the UK an ally. They're a part of NATO, and this is another member of NATO that seems to be crumbling and tumbling because they haven't supported us. The one time that we've asked for help, well, they just turned their back on us and walked away. So here is a post from a EU leader, and I want you to take notice of exactly what she says. It can take many years to grow into the statesman you became in just 2 years. The European and Ukrainian security is stronger because of you. Not the UK is better. Not that immigration in the UK is better. Not that you are making Britain better, safer. Not that you're taking care of your own people, but the European Union, which they chose to leave because of Brexit, and UK and the Ukrainian country is stronger and safer. Do you think if he would have, thought inwardly about his own country, that this would be a different result? I find it very ironic. But hey, the mother of 7 Brussels-born European leader by heart, she knows better than all of us, right? Because it works so well here in the United States. When you put the United States second place, the people love you, right? I mean, think about it. Kamala, Giggles, whatever you want to call her, she was so concerned about the people coming through the southern border, welcoming them in with open arms, that, the American voter said, hey, Kamala, we love you. We'll show you in November. And we did show her. You have to take care of your own.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision. I will ask the National Executive Committee of the Labour Party to set out a timetable with nominations opening on the 9th of July and completed by the summer recess.
So he says something there. Every decision that I have taken is about putting the country I love first. That's why I will resign. Does that sound right? Does that sound like a prime minister that cares about his country? Because there's a lot of critics that will say, and I will as well, that Keir Starmer has not really cared about his own country. He's cared about the Ukraine. He's cared about, Iran. He's cared about Palestine. He's cared about Gaza. He's cared about all these other places that are not England. He hasn't cared about the crime in London. He hasn't cared about the children that have, I can't say the word, but things have happened to them there in the UK. He hasn't cared about that. He's cared about being empathetic to the people that should not be there. A little bit more irony here is going back to 2022. Keir Starmer posted a sentence to Boris Johnson. The party is over, Boris. Resign. He did that at 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, I think Boris is going to laugh last. No, I'm not saying Boris Johnson was a good prime minister. Thought he was a weirdo and should have combed his hair. But how the tide has turned. And speaking of the tide turning, this is so funny. In the midst of all the chaos, Larry the cat is proving to be one of the few constants in Downing Street as he prepares for a potential 7th new owner. This is the resident cat there at 10 Downing Street. And he has rooted out more vermin in the UK than any prime minister. Larry the cool cat about to outlast the 6th prime minister. That should tell you something about how badly run the United Kingdom is. I'm not sure how much you care about the UK, but I care about them being an ally. When they work with us, we're safer, they're safer, and many other countries are safer. When they work against us, we're bigger, better, bolder, and braver. We showed them that during the American Revolution, and now we're showing them that on the world stage. Keir Starmer, you're gone. And Freddie Mercury's song lives on. Another one bites the dust. I'll see you in the next one.